No, you don't have to switch your YouTube off and on again. This is a different room that you might be used to. Daddy's moved and he's switching it up on us.
I love to switch.
Me too, which is appropriate for today's episode. Top or bottom?
Top.
Really?
Are you talking about me or you?
I said, look at me. Why would I?
Bottom. Sorry.
Follow-up question, Dom or sub?
Talking about me?
Roll the opening. Hello and welcome back to
What's Safe Word?
I'm Amp.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today
we're switching it up.
should we switch chairs?
Oh, you want to do that?
Is that weird?
Oh, this is weird. I'm usually on the left. I'm atop.
I'm a top. Today's episode is all about switching it up, which means you're not going to Dom or sub exclusively, but you might be somewhere in between. Daddy, how would you specifically define what switching is?
Switching is being able to change roles in BDSM dynamics. So you can either be a Dom or a sub, and you can do it pretty seamlessly.
And switching doesn't really have a cookie cutter method of how to specifically, because I know people that like to switch between themselves in one scene, or they Dom in one scene with the same person that they'll then sub to another. And so today we are going to be answering all of your questions that you sent us on social media about switching. There was lots of Doms with questions, there was lots of subs with questions, and there was lots of switches who wanted our perspectives. So we asked you here, and these are our switchy answers, which I feel that our answers might switch it up a little bit too.
You keep saying switchy and it sounds witchy to me. Should we be doing this during Halloween?
And now you're submitting to me, but also dominating at the same
Double
time.
broil, sub and troil, or yeah.
Double broil. Am I a piece of meat now? A quick disclaimer before we get into the questions though, is some of these questions will ask questions about topping, or will ask questions about doming. And I wanna call out that while top does not equal dom, sometimes people can like ride the line between the two, and the same with sub and bottom. You can be any mixture of those things, but you can be a dominant bottom or a submissive top.
Yeah, and usually topping and bottoming refers to penetration.
And Dom and Sub tends to talk about your headspace or being the one who is taking control or being taken in control. And today's first question comes from Jay, who asks, how do you learn to do it correctly?
I don't think there's a wrong or a right way to do it.
Learning to be a switch is, as Daddy kind of said, a subjective thing. It definitely comes with whatever you're looking to get out of the play, but also who you're playing with will determine how you are dominating, submitting, and to what degree. So while there is no cookie cutter right or wrong way, I do think that it helps to start with asking yourself why you want to be a switch and self-reflecting on what turns you on in both a submissive and a dominant headspace.
One reason I do it is I find that being a sub, I am able to give a better experience to subs as a Dom, and vice versa. As a Dom, I am able to learn from other Doms.
See, that's not what you said. Offline you said it's because you get bored. I do legitimately think that some people don't like getting like pigeonholed into one specific position within their kink, and so they like to explore. But I'll also say in this, a really good tip is to not take yourself too seriously and to make sure that you are, like many things, communicating, which is the backbone of every kink, sex, relationship problem.
Pigeonholed? What kink is that?
It's where you dress up as a pigeon and you start you pegging, pigeon pegging, you know?
Pigeon pegging. Another thing I do is play off the energy of the person I'm involved with. So if they have like a dommy, like toppy persona, then I go the other way. And if, yes.
Can I have a dommy toppy personality, please?
Lick my boot. Lick it!
Are there any other things this dommy top likes besides licking? Can I have a side of subby bottom as well? Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Pointed. But the last tip I want to give here for this first question, be okay with not being good at switching. Some people are made to submit.
And some people just enjoy doming, and that's okay. They don't have to do the other. But if you are a Dom, don't think that you have to stay in that one role just because everyone expects that of you.
The next question from the anonymous coward asks, do some of them, referring to people that switch, sometimes use switch in the same way some guys use verse to bypass some people's automatic rejection of a sub or a bottom? You don't do this because you are a switch, and I'm pretty switchy myself as well. Do you think people will kind of lie about their positioning in this?
Somebody lied to her.
Just because they think that a sub or a bottom is going to be like negative? Which is just weird. Like, why is sub bottom a negative connotative thing in sex? Let's get that out of the like.
So they say
out.
they're verse, but they're really bottom.
Yeah, that's kind of what the question's asking. I think that sometimes people do use switch to refer to, you know, both sides, and then they kind of push their agenda that they like. But I think that that's just disingenuous. It's very much like when people use bisexual when they're really gay, because they think that they can get it under the radar and be less judgment, you know, on their person and personality. But I think that that just kind of detracts from the kink scene in general.
So you're saying it's a gateway term to what they really are.
True, but it's also just an inappropriate term that's disingenuous.
What's the difference between switch and verse?
Well, verse refers to topping and bottoming, where switch is more about the headspace of the kink, so dom sub.
If you repeat as a verse, can you say second verse same as the first? They say that in songs all the time. Second verse same as the first.
Which songs? Love that song.
No.
I have a question then though. When you talk about your own dynamic in kink, how much do you think you switch? Like what's your percentages if you're putting a number on it?
I switch probably, I in my profile I say I'm a 50-50 switch, but because now I'm in a new sub-dom role that has actually been almost 100%.
So you're lying, Tyler.
No, I know.
You're lying.
Liar! I will still dom if people that want to play with me require that.
I'm generally about 65% on that passive submitting role and like a 35 in the doming role. I like to take someone who wants to submit to that place. Like I get a lot of pleasure from doming. I would definitely consider myself a pleasure dom in that way. But also I am very subby and people see me and my certain assets. And so I am kind of pigeonholed into that position because of it.
We're seeing a lot of pigeonholes today.
What now?
I'll give you a
Not sure
pigeonhole.
that's consensual.
Ooh, hey, I got your pigeonhole right over here. And if you're looking for versatility,
We need to see more versatility.
this next question from Rubber Racer asks, how do I tell my wife of over 20 years I'm now gay?
That seems like a different question. I don't know. That's not, well, I guess they are switching. So,
I'm Switzerland on this topic.
I think they got the wrong thread.
Which actually leads into our next question / sponsor, who is asking you what you're doing for yourself to switch up the mood and maybe make some better decisions for yourself. Fume, you grab it around the base, and then you put it in your mouth, and then I have the little rubber silicone bit to it, so you can kind of like, it's a little like chew toy as well.
There's a bit, like a horse bit? Oh, it is a bit. Look at that.
Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that's perfect for anyone who's looking to break away from some bad habits or just wanting something enjoyable to use. It's nicotine-free, non-toxic, and completely guilt-free. Now, flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky sodas, Fume's cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint, orange vanilla, and with flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation, which I know a thing about, through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. Even physiology shows stopping a bad habit cold turkey is hard for your brain, and Fume works by replacing your hand-to-mouth fixation, calming nervous tension, and distracting you from your bad habit with delicious flavors and just a little bit of fidgeting. With no batteries, no vapor, and nothing to charge, it's easy to use, safe anywhere, and looks amazing with a sleek, high-quality design that anyone can love unboxing. With refreshing flavors like mint that reminds you of an herbal tea, or just an orange vanilla that reminds you of your favorite dessert, Fume fills the void of that bad habit, but also helps to make a difference and promote wellness and better habits within your life, as well as being backed by doctors within the US. So switch it up and start a new habit for yourself, or get a gift for one of your family members with Fume by heading to tryfume.com/Safeword and use code Safeword to get a free Fume topper when you order a journey pack. It's the perfect addition to make your gift even more special. It's something your favorite pup or kinkster can chew on. Again, go to tryfume.com/Safeword or just use the QR code on screen. Grab yours now, support the show, and try my favorite flavor, cinnamon.
Thank you again, Fume, for sponsoring this episode. If you'd like to switch up your routine and maybe make some better habits, check them out in the link down below. Let them know we sent you.
Okay.
Or this next one from Nouse, who says, can you actively choose to switch for a partner, or is it more of a mood you don't consciously control?
Sure, why not? You can switch to please someone as long as you're getting pleasure from it as well.
But also, you don't have to. I think that context matters in this situation. If you have a friend that really wants to do some rope play, but they don't know how to do ropes, like maybe you take the dominating role there. It's all about the other person and the vibe and just figuring out what it is you guys are gonna make together. It's essentially whatever feels best for you. The next question from Apollo asks, how does one learn to top after being an established bottom for a while? Also, is there a switch headspace or are the headspaces just top/bottom? Again, not top and bottom, dom and sub. But see, this is where so many people get confused.
I think it actually occurs sometimes naturally over time. I think people, as they're in their younger years, they tend to bottom more. And then as they get a little more grown up, they adventure to the other side.
It's like the dark side. They've got cookies.
And that the reverse can be true too. Some people who were only doming their entire lives, as they get older and their inhibitions relax, then they try doing the sub side.
And here's where I'll get my soapbox. I think sometimes the best tops are really experienced bottoms.
Why are you yelling?
I was on a soapbox. You're supposed to read extra, read all about it. No?
Sure.
Don't you remember when there was newspaper boys that
Do
would stand
you?
on boxes? No, I'm not that old. Honestly, if you've already been an established bottom, wow, humble brag. But also, you know what about your headspace when you're bottoming is really attractive and probably how to turn on other subs or bottoms to get them into that proper headspace. You know what the top does in that domination that gets you going, and you should use that to your advantage.
And the term turn on is key here. I think it is imperative that you be turned on by either role that you do.
If you are looking to dominate and you've established yourself as a sub, find those experienced submissives and be honest with them. This is where communication comes in, where you tell them, hey, I want to try doing this from this perspective for once. Do you mind if I experiment and practice with you because I trust you as an experienced submissive?
And I know you love being spanked, so can I practice spanking you?
Maybe make it a bit sexier than that, but yeah.
So newer subs will come to me all the time saying, I want to try this, and I know you're experienced at that. Will you try that with me? And sometimes DOMs as well. They'll be like, I haven't had a good flogging. Would that be something you would do?
And then you might say, yeah, but next week it's your turn.
And I will say, yes, if you tie me up in return.
And last but not least on this question specifically, asking about the Switch headspace, I, as a sex nerd with a bunch of like hip friends that aren't really sure where they exist on that spectrum of kink, am so open when a friend wants to play. I never put baby in the corner whenever they want to, unless they're into diapers. But I'm always pretty open about that. And I find myself switching between those two modes within one compartmentalized scene, just because that's fun to me. I like how interchangeable and dynamic being a Switch can be. The next question from Skylar asks, but what if I want to talk about Nintendo at the same time?
I don't get it. Oh, is it because it's called a Switch?
Extra, play all the games.
It's a Switch.
I am a Switch.
Is it a Switch?
Yeah,
It's a Switch, right?
A Switch playing a Switch. You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now here's a bitch playing a Switch.
Switch, bitch.
One time, he wanted to play video games, and so I said, okay, what game would you like to play? Because he was always like, you always know the games, it's unfair, you always know how to play them, you always win. And I was like, okay, what game would you like to play?
Donkey Kong from my childhood.
And so I downloaded the most recent Donkey Kong on my Switch,
Which
and we
is
started
not
playing
the
it, and he's
same.
like, why is there graphics? Why are they big? What, there's more than one?
It wasn't Donkey Kong.
Technically it was, but then we downloaded old school Donkey Kong, the
Yes.
side scrolling, and guess who kicked someone else's ass?
Me.
No. This one kind of piggybacks on the headspace question from Ty, who asks, have you ever accidentally transitioned your mindset from dom to sub or vice versa during a scene? And if so, what do you do?
What do you mean accidentally transition? Like you're doming someone and you're like, oh, beat me. How does that happen?
I can give an example. So there was one time I had a pup over that wanted to play, and he might have been coming from the bar, so he had a few drinks, but he was going to be doing the doming, and then 5-10 minutes in,
drunk and couldn't.
he was a little unready and unprepared to take the charge there. So what I did is I tied him down, and then I started dominating him. I still got off the way that we had talked about. There was still penetration happening, but I wasn't the top. I was the dom though. So there is being open and dynamic in that way, avoided the awkwardness because he felt really bad. And I was like, don't feel bad, lay down.
Yeah, this is kind of like wrestling to see who's going to bottom.
Oh, and that's fun. Are you telling me you wouldn't do that?
Like loser bottoms, and then you like both try to lose.
Go grab my Switch. We're playing Mario Kart and the loser bottoms. To this question, accidentally might not be the right term there,
Right.
but falling into a hole does happen sometimes. If that does end up happening, be chill, be cool, be calm, and just be like, no worries, let's switch it up. And here's one where I'm really curious about your perspective. This question from Kevin says, what do you like in other switches? What flips your switch from dom to sub in a scene, or vice versa?
Dirty talk.
Ooh.
Yeah. If they're a good dirty talker, that will get me going every single time.
I really like someone who's just completely transparently open to trying stuff. I love giving people new experiences and seeing their light bulb moment happen. And they're like, oh, that's why that person's into it, you know?
Yeah, experimental, trying new things.
Someone who's showing vulnerability and versatility
Versatility.
is just really hot to me as a pretty ingrained switch. But also, communication turns me on. As a demi, if you can talk to me about the things you're into and why, like, I find that so hot. Or how about this one from Mr. Fedora, who says, I get the, does the gender of your partner determine your DS role? A lot. And to those people that see someone's gender, stature, age, size, get out of throw it in the trash. Those perspectives that follow a stereotype are so tired and boring. You can be any gender.
What does gender have to do with it?
What's love got to do with it? You know? Exactly.
There's the Tina song we never had got. What's gender got to do with it? Got to do with it? No, all genders can either dom or sub. So I don't see the reasoning there.
The reasoning is assumptions made by people who honestly pay them no mind. You know what assuming does? It makes an ass out of you and Next question from Funny Male Rainbow asks, and uses little quotes, well, are they actually a switch? Because I swear, every switch I meet up with ends up being 100% passive.
So this is back to the verse thing. You know, people say they're switches, but they really are a sub.
Or maybe somebody just underestimates or overestimates their own interest in a specific scene. There's definitely been kink scenes that I get into it and I'm like, oh, spanking? Yeah, I'd be down. And then I quickly find out, not my thing. That doesn't mean that I'm not a switch. In other kinks though, like there's some kinks I prefer to dom and there's some that I prefer to sub, right? Well, my follow-up to this one, would you want to sleep with someone who is undermining and questioning if you actually are into something? It's a very unattractive trait. Like if you told me you wanted to dominate me and I'd be like, oh, are you really going to though?
No, because then I'd think you're a brat.
Yeah, and unless you're in a bratting scene, that's a real big turnoff. So be more open-minded, you'll get laid more often. That's the tip.
That's the tip.
Are you actually a switch?
Would you like me to prove it?
How are you gonna prove it?
I'm gonna tie you down and then we're going to rope your off, pull them to the point where you while I gag you and you and play It's a Small World After All for 2 hours.
Demonetized.
I know. But Samson, you can bleep around that, right? And if they still respond with, are you actually a switch after you tell them you're gonna prove it, then yes, it's a bratting scene.
Definitely.
Next question. Good girl kind of piggybacks on that saying, how do you deal with people thinking I'm lying, experimenting, or are just so cute about my dom side when I lean heavily sub for most play? It can be really hurtful when my partners or kink friends are not taking me and my duality seriously just because it isn't a 50-50 split. Honestly, some of the most devious doms I know are cutesy as fuck in every other part of their life.
But you are gonna have to work harder. If all you project is a sub side and that's what people know you for, you're gonna have to work that much harder to prove that you have that dom side. So don't feel slighted by that because you're presenting something else. Go be your good, bad dom self and people will stop talking.
Have you ever had a moment where somebody thought that you were a sub and then you show up and you end up dominating the scene?
All the time.
Really? Really? Huh, interesting. I always thought you were too cute. You're just so cute.
I am.
You're just so
I am.
cute.
And that's why people don't expect it.
If your friends aren't taking you seriously, why? I mean, it's always nice. I like having perspectives and takes from my friends who I trust as far as like how I present myself in a scene or even like sometimes in bars, people are like, make sure you smile. Because I want to be conscious of how I'm projecting and presenting. But unless they're paying your bills, pay them no mind. This next one from Lost Boy's Daddy says, if I dommed you first, do you think you could do better? Would you like me to prove it?
Again, that sounds like another brat, but possibly. I mean, anyone who comes second now has the ability to do better than you do.
Oh, turnabout's fair play.
Yeah.
And my favorite kind of turnabout is getting to dom the second time. Like
Revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge is the best turnabout.
That's not what I said. I said I liked domming after subbing for someone, but you heard revenge.
Yeah.
Which says a lot more about you and your dom style.
I could really feed off of revenge.
This next one hits home and feels a little bit more personal to us, actually. It comes from the messy little boot black who asks, do you ever have trouble getting into a sub or dom headspace with someone who you've been the opposite role for in the past? For instance, doming someone that you've subbed for before. Now, have we ever switched roles?
Yes.
And?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we do switch roles, it's more of a playful dynamic. You like to tease and like tie me down so I am helpless, and then you're just kind of a little teasy about it.
And do you not enjoy that?
Sure.
That's just very, very convincing. No, I say it's more personal to us because there have been times when I've topped you or dommed you, but it was a bit more performative and it was to try something else out. But I think that there is definitely something to be said within being vulnerable enough to try and flip that switch with someone that you're used to. I think it really shows a dynamic between two people. And if they're able to make that work, cool, fun, really interesting, but it's not something you should force if you're not feeling it.
I actually had a hard time because I put my life out there publicly. I had a hard time subbing after you and I got together because I thought that would diminish my role as a dom to you if you saw me out there being vulnerable. But we discussed it and you said you just don't watch that.
I think I get the opposite of that sometimes. People just assume that I'm always the bottom and the submissive in everything that I do.
And they don't know what a control freak you really are. So.
Wow, okay. I was going to turn this into a positive and you just...
It is positive. You use it for good.
I'm the one jabbing. I find that to get out of your own way with this kind of getting into the headspace troubles, talking about what you want and how you want it, being able to contextualize why something turns you on for a person that might be doming you for the first time really does help to give them kind of a step into the doorway of your headspace. It not only makes you kind of think and like self-actualize what turns you on and why, but maybe, and I hope, helps you appreciate your headspace a little bit more.
That being said, don't over talk it, especially if someone is trying to be a dom for the first time. Go with the flow, let them make some decisions. And even if it's not great, go along with it so they get confidence and they'll try it again.
You like this? Is this fun for you?
No.
This is my interrupting pigeon.
Some things can be over-talked.
But to our first tip at the beginning of the episode, if it's not working and you're not enjoying it, it's not giving you pleasure and you're not feeling great about it,
Stop doing it.
yeah, you did it, you tried it, give them a good old high five, nice job, champ, and you move on, you know, not demeaning at all. We prefer champ, dude, bro. What's the like the really laid back way of letting someone
From
down?
you?
Yeah.
Don't call me champ.
And this last question from Nemo asks, does being a switch make you a softer dominant?
I don't think it necessarily makes them soft because I can get very, very
Hard.
dominant. Especially after being submissive. Because then I want to reverse that role. I want to take charge and do something to someone that was just done to me because I know how good it feels.
And my domination style is generally a bit more soft. And that's because I submit so often that I know what turns people on. Ow, 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 ow.
Not a very good bottom either.
For this question, I would say a little bit softer, I think, just because I like knowing how a sub feels. And so I am the type of dom who does like check in. I do that soft doming. I'm generally more kind and nurturing after I do a little bit of pain. But I'm also like, hey, how are your hands? How's the rope feel? Does this feel good? You need a break? Want some water? I'm always the end of a scene, the first one to like grab a glass
But
of
you
water.
can check in and not be soft about it.
Yeah, you can, but that's not my style.
Oh, okay.
Your switch headspace might change to every single person that you play with, and that's okay.
Actually, that's preferable.
Yeah.
You should play differently with everyone. It's different personalities.
Yeah, and obviously everyone works different. So if you're the same Dom every time, it might get a little old, it might get a little boring.
Boring.
And while we, of course, are both switches on our different spectrums and have our own perspectives, I actually wanted to close out today's episode with specific tips that we got from you guys. So I want to just speed run through that real quick.
So what'd they say?
Banjo says, if you're having issues, try switching it off and on again.
Like a computer.
Gay Horror Geek says, always try switching with people you trust.
That's true.
Funny Male Rainbow, communication is very important, especially if you're a switch.
True.
Daddy Danger Wolf, it's about giving yourself and the folks you're playing with the freedom to meet each other exactly where you are in the moment. Beautifully put. Whisper says, there's no loss of pride or status in a Dom who decides to sub. And I love how that's phrased, because so many people think that you are going to be giving up something, or you're losing something, or you're being, because you're vulnerable and versatile. Oh God, ooh, that's so bad. Growing Bovine's tip says, you need to get good at reading the vibes and energy another person's putting out. The vibe I'm getting right now is unsure, but maybe.
That's true for any role. So not just for Switch.
Max says, don't let labels restrict what you'd like to do, regardless of the role or position. Switchboy Sam says, embrace it. Don't be afraid to embrace your dominant side with someone and your submissive side with someone else. Ryan says, be patient, have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not doing drag. And Nemo, who actually asked the last question, has a tip in this thread. I think we're gonna leave it there, who says, don't say you don't like something you have never tried.
Ooh, that's a good point.
But also, don't say you were really into something that you're not. Be honest. The only way you're gonna get what you want in and out of the bedroom is being honest.
Well, you might think you're going to be into something before you try it. So I could see the confusion there.
But that's where I would much rather someone be like, I think I'm really into this, but I've never done it before and I'm being a little vulnerable here. Let's do it. You don't even have to overcomplicate it with anything else. Just be honest. Tell them what you want to do. Just like, hey, I'm new here. And I think that's where we're going to leave it today, Daddy. But regardless of topping, bottoming, doming, or subbing, maybe you're verse or you're a side or you're just a switch, always have a safe word. And today's safe word is...
Switches get stitches.
What? Are you threatening our entire Switch community here on my platform?
Only if you snitch.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't say that. Yeah. No snitching. Or yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you on that one.
And of course, last but not least, please don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Fume, helping you switch up your bad habits and try something new. Check them out in the description down below.
If you enjoyed today's Switchy episode, we hope that you leave some comments down below. Let us know what other topics you'd like to see from us next time.
And if you like ringing bells, ring that bell down below. It might notify you of our next one.
And don't forget to check out our Patreon. We've been putting a whole lot more content up over there. Not only our video podcast, which won an award,
Ooh.
but also you get early access, sneak peeks, and you get to ask some more intimate questions sometimes that help us to form some of these episodes. So please get on over there. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters that are on the bottom of the screen right now. Wow.
Are you putting
Oh
all
my
of them
God.
right now?
Look at them go.
Wow.
Asking me what's happening on screen doesn't help with the bit of things happening on screen.
What's going on? What is this? What's going on here? What's this all about?
Whoa! So a huge heartfelt thank you from us, because we could not do all this without your support and helping us to keep these lights on. There's a lot of lights.
A lot of lights.
And also, we're gonna need to do something different with the lights too, because Daddy's moved out of his place and our old studio is no longer an option. That's just kind of a end of the episode
It's
behind
gone.
the scenes.
Bye.
Well, it's not gone, you just moved. Don't forget to subscribe, but we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. You guys want to hear? You guys want to see a joke?
What do you mean see a joke? Hear a joke or see a joke? I'm the joke. You guys want to see a brat?
Are they in the room with us?
That's what a brat would say.
Are they where? Are they in the room? I don't see them.